Hi, I was just wondering if you have any cinnamon.
Yes, I think we do.
Alright, here we go.
Nice spoon. Can't have all that.
I'm going to bring it back. I'm just going to have a spoonful.
Okay.
Hello.
I really don't want to do this, but I posted my video a day late. This is cinnamon. You want to get Ash in it and say it? Cinnamon?
That is cinnamon.
Smell? Oh, fucking rock.
Taste. Good taste.
I'm shaking already. I don't want to do this.
Can't tip any out. Straight in the mouth.
It's on video, man. It's on video.
Oh, it's stuck to my fucking tongue. Oh, funny as fuck, man.
Does the milk help or what?
Still in there.
Two folks, man. This guy didn't post the video on the Monday, so he needed a tablespoon of fucking cinnamon. Had to go down, Adam.
Oh, it's still at the back of my throat.
So did you swallow any of it or what?
Yes. Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, there we go.
So you won't do that again, will you?
No, Monday I'll post my video. I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you very much for putting that punishment upon me, because obviously it was such an adequate punishment for someone who didn't post a video when they were supposed to. Yeah. If this is like the bar that we're setting for people who are posting late, I've got some for you. Well, I actually haven't got any at the moment, but I can think of some. I will think of some. Don't you second guess that. I'll think of some. Rightio. So to this week's theme. This week's theme, well, it was going to, well, Tanil announced that it was going to be laws, like crazy laws that you thought were stupid. Australia really doesn't have that many stupid laws that I'm aware of, that I can think of at the moment anyway. So in the sidebar you've put the books adapted into films, and we're going to rant about that. I chose that. The rest of yous, the three of yous, you can choose whether you want to do stupid laws or books adapted into films, because I don't know, America might have some really crazy laws. And also, I haven't yet announced this, but I kind of instituted last week that we'll do a double rant each video, because we've got the week's theme, which we'll rant about, as well as just another inconsequential thing, as well as the fact that anything that has irked you or vexed you throughout the week, that you can rant about that as well. So that way we have a bit of variety instead of just having the one theme each week. Do we agree with this? This is Kushti. Double rant for the win. The first book adapted into film that I'm going to talk to you about, of course, is going to be Harry Potter. Harry Potter seems to be a recurring theme in the videos because I don't like Malfoy. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to make me like Malfoy, alright? I do not like him, he's a whiny little bitch, and he annoys me. That's that. I have actually read all 7 books about 3 times each, so I kind of know them pretty well, in depth, if you will. But the movies, the way they adapted it into the movies, I'm really not a fan of the movies compared to the books. Obviously, you're not going to be if you've read the books. For one, like, if you haven't read the books, of course the movie's going to be good. Well, you could like the movies because it's, you know, that whole, hey, I don't read, I'm going to just deal with this cinematic expansion of how the book should be. One point that I will bring up is the fact that I think it was The Goblet of Fire, when they have to fight the dragons. They have the dragon challenge, and then in the book, when Harry fights the dragon, I think it's the Ridgeback or the Haunt. I don't even know what it is. Whichever one he does, he has to fight the biggest dragon. And in the book, it's kind of like it's over within 5 minutes. In the movie though, it's kind of like, hey, let's elongate this whole scene, and Harry's going to then go sailing across the scenic prowess of all that is Hogwarts and its surroundings. What? It's just a sensationalized version of it. They just extend the incidental parts when it's just so you can get more special effects. That annoys me. Why don't you work more on the storyline? Harry really annoyed me in the Order of the Phoenix because he just whinges and whinges and whinges and you just like shut them. A movie that I thought was good, like a book adaptation to a movie that I thought was really good, was Anne Rice's The Interview with a Vampire. Wow, that is an awesome movie. And just Kirsten Dunst in that as the young girl that she is, young actress. She portrays the character so well. Claudia. Oh. For the young age that she was, Kirsten Dunst, the character that she portrayed, Claudia, it had to be a young girl who had, it was a young girl who had the eyes of like a middle-aged woman. Because obviously you grow and you age, but you're still a young girl, and I just thought she really portrayed that well. The only thing that pissed me off about this movie was, again, I've mentioned in my previous videos, Armand. Armand really frustrates me, the character Armand does. But the fact that they got Antonio Banderas to play Armand frustrated me a little, because Armand's meant to be like a preteen kind of boy. He's like a youth teenager, and obviously Antonio Banderas is not that character, and that just frustrated me. However, Interview with a Vampire was good. The follow-up to this, in conjunction with this, is Queen of the Damned, the movie that followed Interview with a Vampire. The chronological order of the way that the Vampire Chronicles goes, and Rice's books, goes Interview with the Vampire Lestat, and then Queen of the Damned. Queen of the Damned, the movie, in its own right, it was okay, because it was very music-based, and John Davies from Korn kind of did a lot of music, and it was very good like that in aspect. But the fact is, the Queen of the Damned incorporated Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned, the books, and quite personally, I think they were my two favourite books out of all of the Anne Rice books that I've read, and they totally destroyed the storyline, the plot. I cannot believe this was allowed to be made! Apart from the fact that it was good in its own regard, but in relation to the book. So while we're talking about the book adaptation to a film, I'm going to go along the lines of a book adaptation to a cartoon series. And when I say this, it's South Park is the cartoon series, and the book is Grapes of Wrath. Anyone who has read Grapes of Wrath, I respect you. It's an awesome book. I recommend you read it. It's by John Steinbeck. The episode in question is, I don't actually know the name of it, but it's when like everyone loses internet. And when I was watching this with my cousin Nick, like when I was on break, I was sitting there watching this and I'm going, oh my god, this is so good how they're doing it. Because the whole lead up, because everyone loses internet, and then the Marsh family then they travel across the country to find the one place where they think they have internet. And it's the way that they've done it, oh my god, like it's obvious that Nick didn't actually get the whole reference to the Grapes of Wrath, but while I was watching it I was thinking, this reinforces my opinion of the fact that South Park is the virtuoso in social satire. It was just... Anyone who has read the book Grapes of Wrath, please go and see the movie, go and see the episode where they lose the internet. So good, so good. Tomorrow night, I am going to Japan. I'm going to Japan, yeah. My camera right now is sitting on top of a Lonely Planet Japan book. Tomorrow night, I'm going to Japan for like 2.5 weeks. I go to Tokyo, Kyoto, Hiroshima, then back to Osaka. Japan! Daddy's gonna bring back some chopsticks. Bye!